So I'm sure you just looked at that crooked steering wheel, and the check engine light just came back on as well, so that's super awesome. So we got to go get this car aligned pretty soon, and I really wanted to do that before the car got painted, because as I might have said maybe like 300 times, here, I'm gonna put the windows up, maybe that'll be, there we go, all right. So like I've said 1,000 times, this car was hit before. It was hit on the left side, and it doesn't appear that there's any everlasting damage or any like real structural issues from that damage. But what the alignment could tell us is maybe that there's some hidden problems that I can't see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the car aligned by a professional who's gonna have a look and just make sure there's no surprises. Because I've said 10 billion times, this car is gonna be for sale. What's going on, guys? So I'm actually coming at you from the future right now, because if you're watching this car right behind me here has actually been sent off to the paint booth, and it's finally going to be the color it deserves to be, which is going to be Honda Grand Prix White. And I'm really excited to get the car back. I'm going to show you guys all the details of who's painting it after the car is done, because honestly, he really deserves his own plug, and we're going to give him a proper plug on the channel here. But anyway, throughout this whole little mini series, I've casually dropped a whole bunch of statements like this car's been wrecked, it's been hit, but I never really got into any detail on much of that. And that's what I'm going to kind of do in this video here. We're going to talk about this car's history, what it used to be, and how I have it. So here we go. All right, so first I want to get into what this S2000 used to be. So this car used to be like some fully done up, like nice, like show car kind of thing. This car used to be lowered to the ground, and probably it might have even had some kind of cool kit on it, because it was missing the bumpers when I got it, both front and back. It definitely had a turbo on it. I'm not sure what motor was in it to be sure, but it was probably either the stock 4-cylinder or some 4-cylinder, because look, you can clearly see right here where some large turbo was bumping against the hood, and there's even like some heat damaged paint over here. And if you look down there, if you guys remember some of the earlier clips I showed, there used to be that shrink wrapped material, heat wrap, I should call it. It was that gold stuff that Tavares likes to use on some of his cars, and that's, once more because the turbo is right here. And the car was also like wire tucked, so it was missing a lot of that kind of stuff. And there's even some things that were shaved off of it. For example, the car no longer has its factory hood prop. I actually don't even know where the thing even bolts to. And I got these nice hood struts they're doing just fine, so no real complaints there. But the car was missing all the wiring, and I got to give a quick shout out to the guy that sold me this car, because he purchased the car without most of that stuff, and he's the one that actually kind of did the nice parts hunt. So dude, if you're watching this, you're all right, man. Thank you. But I guess now we'll get into the actual collision part, because I'm sure if you're still watching this, that's probably something you're interested in hearing. The guy that owned it must have lost control of it or something, and the story I got was he hit a guardrail. And now you can kind of see the car here. Our rear left quarter panel had to be replaced, and there was also some damage sustained a little bit behind that, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And this complete door was replaced. And I would imagine that this damage went on to the front fender there too, because I as you can see, I have two new fenders. So this car was wrecked by somebody who sold it to somebody who sold it to somebody else who sold it to me. The first somebody is the person that did all this quarter repair. I haven't gotten his approval to use him in the video, so we're just gonna say somebody. Yeah, this is what we got, and I gotta give him credit. He did really, really nice work here. Don't mind any of the surface rust here. We're gonna make sure we take care of all that stuff before the car gets painted, obviously, but really, he did a really good job on this. This is all the seam sealer that you're supposed to use. This is all just dirt, so just ignore that. But even going down to like the bottom of the seam here, everything lines up just the way it's supposed to. There's nothing's like sticking out or anything like that. It's really perfect. This is all just the wiring. There's a panel that goes over here. Remember, this car is getting sent off to paint really soon. So, you know, I'm kind of leaving some of the panels off of it. That way it's easier to paint. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, these are all just like spot welds, you know, and you can see all like the factory locations, and it looks really good. You know, there's like maybe some little tiny details you can point out, which I'm going to show you in a minute in the trunk that I noticed. So the seller was nice enough to actually give me the original door for the car. This was the driver's door, and you can actually see the indentation in the back of the door here, and you can just kind of tell that, you know, based on what you see in front there, that this was probably a little bit more severe toward the back quarter of the car. And you can also tell again that, you know, this was definitely a guardrail, because there's two indentations like this that go all the way to the front. And here's the damage here on the inside. Look, flaking paint off of it. You could tell where that just kind of creased all that inside there. And it's actually kind of funny. I think I might have mentioned this in like a previous video. It almost looks like that would be some kind of curve in the car, but no, it's not. It's damage. So the sad story here is, after this car was hit, it was basically left for dead and parted out. Everything that could be taken from the car was taken. The car didn't even roll when I got it. The person I bought it from led me to believe that this was basically just a bare shell with nothing in it. In fact, I think he even told me before that it was basically a bare shell with nothing in it, no interior. The car didn't even roll. It had no front suspension. It had no rear subframe, no tail lights. I don't even know if the thing had a trunk. Who knows? It didn't have any seats, that's for sure. So yeah, this was basically just a completely torn apart car that's missing everything. Left for dead, could have been in a junkyard for all we know. It wasn't. The title's actually clean, and that's why I decided that this car was worth saving, because it didn't have the, you know, that salvage history. And honestly, you know what? Some cars, even with their salvage history, are still worth saving. I'm not even gonna say, you know, that much. So I keep getting asked, why are you selling this thing, man? You like it so much, why are you getting rid of it? The answer is, I just have a lot going on right now with the channel, and I have a lot of other projects I have to manage. And if I sell this, it kind of opens the doors to get some other stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. So what we're doing is we're basically making this car into mostly an OEM car. There's, you know, there's a couple modifications to it. It's got that custom exhaust system and, you know, maybe a couple other little goodies here and there. But for the most part, I'm building this into a stock S2000 that, you know, anyone that wants an S2000 can take this car and modify it and turn it into whatever they want it to be. The car, well, it's a clean title vehicle, and, you know, it's going to have more value than like a salvage one. A lot of people don't want to mess up a car that has low mileage, that has like a perfect history. I wanted to show you the behind work of the quarter that was put on the car. Here's, you know, the side where the quarter was replaced. And I just wanted to show you guys the work that was done here, because obviously, you know, like while it looks good on the outside, you want to make sure it's not held together with like duct tape on the inside. And well, honestly, there's no duct tape in place. They used all the proper, I'm not sure what you call this stuff, but they used all this stuff here, and they put the sound dampening materials back in based on just like the lack of creasing that was here. And, you know, the fact that this wheel well is still really straight, I don't really think the damage extended really all that far. And I would imagine the brunt of the impact was probably right about here, because you can kind of tell that this is like an uneven surface. And, you know, there's kind of like if you look right here, that doesn't really look all that great if you compare it to like the other side here. So you see how this is a little more straight, a little more predictable. And then over here, you know, there's maybe like a couple questionable spots, but the wheel well itself looks fine. It's just, you know, this here, and that's the crumple zone. The crumple zone of the car is designed to bend and warp and get messed up, so some more critical spots don't. And that's kind of what happened here. I do want to point one thing out here, how nice of a line you get on the trunk. So the trunk is closed, and the latch is a little bit off, so ignore the height. So I'm just gonna push down on that a little bit, but I'm gonna let go just so you can see what it naturally wants to do. So there we go. There's a little bit of height on that, but there's a little bit of height on this side as well. All right, guys, so the alignment's important for two reasons. One is kind of obvious, you know, the performance of your car. I mean, you know, look at this, come on. And number two is, in this circumstance, I have to show you that, you know, nothing substantial happened to the car that's, you know, impacting the geometry of it. We want to make sure it's not driving down the road sideways, and a nice alignment is going to be able to prove that everything's within spec. So I'm hoping everything is, but I'm pretty confident I'm not going to have a problem. All right, guys, so we're taking the car to Tony D'Antonio's in Westchester. If you guys are in the area and you want to get your enthusiast car looked after, I can't think of a much better place to do it.
So you're 6'9", 6'8".
Okay.
I don't know why it won't save the live adjustment. That's just the way that they do it. So.
Okay.
But you can see on the screen it's that.
6.8, 6.9. That's 6.8, 6.9. All right, there we go. There's the alignment specs with the car still up on the rack here, you guys.
Oh.
So we're only 0.6 of a degree out. Is that what you said? That's like...
Yeah, and even now, as I start tightening everything up, you'll see, like, as it pulls the slop out of, just like literally the tiny bit of slop between the threads, as you cinch the nuts down, you'll see, like, you know, before it was a solid 6'8". Now it's going to bump to 6'9".
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?